Oh, hey, did you watch American Psycho? I sure did, cause it's American. What? American. Psych? Look at here. If I'm gonna have a psycho, it better be American Psycho. Right. American Psycho was a movie that came out in... God knows. Look it up. I'll figure it out. I'll put it up in the bottom. American Psycho was a movie that came out when I was too young to be able to watch it in theaters, but it was one of those kind of movies that I think I definitely would have enjoyed if I could have gone to the theaters. It definitely was a movie I enjoyed once I was able to watch it and get my hands on it, even though I was probably too young under the rage rating system to watch it. But it fit in line with a certain category of movies that us kind of cool individual guys sort of liked, sort of loner guys. You know, movies about psychology and identity that really get you thinking, and maybe, you know, about certain conflicts in society, but more like identity, really mind-blasting identity stuff. That kind of psychology stuff was really up my alley. You know, it kind of fits in line what was the predecessor to Fight Club, you could say. And Fight Club, I'm not allowed to talk about Fight Club. Anyway, if you haven't seen American Psycho, it was a movie based on a book, and it did have a kind of open ending, open to interpretations. There are parts of it that are a bit disturbing, so if you're really lighthearted, then maybe it's not a good movie for you to watch. So anyway, I'll give you a quick kind of brief synopsis sort of it, but I suggest actually just looking it up from other YouTubers. They're just movie YouTuber guys that review movies and give summaries. They do a great job. I'm not here to replace them or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing. So I'll give a link below or here or there, wherever, on one of the YouTubers that I think did a really good job giving a kind of analysis, or rather a summary of the show. But I want to give my own little bit of a summary, just nutcracker version, but I would really suggest either actually going and watching the movie before you come back to watch the rest of this show, or actually just watch the summary by this other person that I'll have the video link for you, and draw your own conclusions before you come back. So now let me just give a quick summary if you didn't go watch that sort of. American Psycho is about this guy named Patrick Bateman who sort of seems in the beginning a little bit obsessed with aesthetics, you know, how he looks physically, how his face looks, how his body looks, even how his clothing are. And he then comes to a corporate CEO world. He seems to be in charge in such a position of privilege in this new corporate kind of world, supposedly, that he doesn't even have to do work when he's at work. He's got a secretary and everything is in an office. He seems super privileged, like he's the son of the president or something like that, of a big major company. But in the mind of his, he doesn't really find meaning in anything. He's not really enjoying it. In fact, he's really needing some kind of catharsis, some kind of deep primal urges coming out of him, where he starts fantasizing and wanting to kill people. Anyway, this movie does have him go through this snowballing effect, starting from one killing to another and ending up with the snowball mass murder that he does, and only to find that, hey, people didn't even notice, because maybe some of it didn't really happen. It was all in his head. No, not all of it was in his head. Some people had theories then, oh, maybe all of the murders he does was in his head and he didn't really kill anybody. Other people tried to have a theory, no, he absolutely did do all the killing. It's just that society is so wacky and warped that nobody really cared to notice, or, you know, corporations wouldn't let him come down, something like that. Some commentary on society and the corporate world that was being built out of it. That's why it's American, I guess. Anyway, people wanted answers at the end of the movie, and people went to the books and they didn't really get too many answers either. They started asking questions of the author, who didn't want to talk too much, but the author did admit, yeah, no, Patrick Bateman definitely did kill some people, but definitely not all of the killings were actually done. But the author didn't reveal which killings were real or not. So there has been a lot of analysis about this movie. But I'd like to point out a clue of what I think happened in the movie that I didn't really see being pointed out by a lot of the other commentators. And now I haven't actually seen everybody's commentary, but I have seen enough because I wanted to know the answer to this question too. What the hell is going on in this freaking movie? Did he freaking kill anybody or not? Is he a real psycho killing people, or he is a psycho just because he's hallucinating? Well, you know what I think. I made an observation. My observation came from one particular scene. Whoop. Now, other people may have come up with this theory too. I kind of think other people may allude to this theory, the conclusion anyway, but again, they didn't pick up on this tip to why supports this theory. The theory is that Patrick Bateman is just one persona of a larger identity, and the other characters on the show are other personas. So I think that his small social circle of friends in the end scene where he's looking at these guys and they're all like, calm down, those are all different personas of the same person. And Patrick Bateman, and the time that he did do killing, was in control of the person or something like that. And at other point in times, Patrick Bateman was playing out what he or it wanted to do as a part of the persona of this person, but it wasn't in control of the body or whatever. So, you know, those things didn't actually happen. But that big clue for me comes from the scene when they're all showing off their cards. Remember I said Patrick Bateman was really obsessed about aesthetics and stupid superficial things because they didn't really have meaningful connection in life to each other or to living things. So they were obsessed about stupid things like how a card feels and looks. And everybody was sharing their card. Now I notice that on each and every character's card shown, they have themselves listed as vice president. Now it might be that this is a company with many vice presidents, or it might be that sharing the card was just a way of them presenting to each other, you have competition and we're all gunning for that same position. But I don't think it was about that, given their commentary, how they were talking about the card and how there is an emphasis on superficial aesthetics even earlier on in the movie. I think all of them are going into this kind of lifestyle of finding meaning in such superficial things such as how, okay, well, you know, it's not so superficial because having a good business card is important for your business. Business advice from your friend, AJ. Cards are important. Anyway, I don't think it was a kind of sign of competition for that position. I think it is just that each of them are the same person. They are all the vice president, and they all have different personas. And Patrick Bateman is just one of the personas for this vice president of this seemingly major and successful company. That's what I think's going on. That's a clue that I have picked up on that I didn't really see other people cover or copy or really address or talk about. I think it's probably definitely spoken about somewhere in some theory, in some form, somewhere. I'm not a Redditor. I'm not a forum person. I'm real old school, I guess you could say, with the internet. I should learn those things maybe. But all my theories sort of come from my head right now. And that's the theory I have about this movie. It doesn't really answer the major question of who did he kill? When did somebody actually die? But it does give us a clue into why this thing is so wacky and weird and why the ending was so wacky and weird. Because the ending was so dissatisfying. It was like, oh, I guess this is just the world I live in. Okay. Anyway, that's what I thought. Hey, I heard you're looking to make some new friends. I'll be a friend. I'll be your best friend. All you have to do is subscribe. Everyone wants peace and victory.